Yeah, they love the cactus with the... So, buddy, you alright? Maybe they done got no games.
Well, if they did. Or at least what kind of animal that is.
I think so.
I stand about right here, he'll retrieve you.
There's a GoPro. Take it so your nose can be on it.
That's it.
Thank you.
first walk animal of the tour. This is Clyde. He's our coati, also known as a coatimundi. These guys are found all throughout South America. You'll see this behavior. They actually find scent and they'll rub it on themselves or on their tail to kind of keep that scent and track it around. So he's rubbing it on his tail so it rubs in. Unique scent. The females communicate where they find different food sources like that. The males though, they live by themselves, very isolated and alone. They only come in contact with the females when it comes time to breed. Now, they are South America's version of a raccoon. North American raccoons, they are awake and active during the night, so they are nocturnal. These guys are actually diurnal, awake and active during the day. So they would actually hunt, find their food sources, find their drinking sources all throughout the day. He's a year old, already weighs about 12 pounds. That very, very long snout of his helps him find food and smell out different tasty treats if he's able to get it to them. And you can see he'll even try to get a lizard here. Sure. Yeah, why not? You guys have some questions for Clyde?
Can I pet him?
Oh no, it's just a little He's got very big claws if you see those claws.
How old will they get?
Say it again?
How old will they
So they can live into their early teens, late teens in captivity.
Oh.
He got a good ways to go. C-O-A-T-I?
Oh.
Clyde,
He's got good
getting
taste.
into goodies.
He's got good taste.
Oh my gosh.
Come here, Boober. Right here.
Now, are you guys joining us for any of those evening tours today, the crunch time or the bedtime? You guys doing which one?
Crunch.
Both of them?
Or
No
both.
problem. So you guys actually have a nice short walk. You guys are going to be walking down this pathway after this next walk animal comes around. We want you guys down there by about 4:25 or so. The tour starts at 4:30. Lanier's in charge of those tours tonight.
All right.
Pick you up for crunch time, and then bedtime happens right after that.
Okay.
No problem.
And so those just two animals that are going to walk.
No problem. Yeah, just the two animals. So this one and your next that's coming behind us. They're very cute ones. You'll enjoy all of them.
Great, thank you so much.
No problem. You guys enjoy yourself.
Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
What did you find?
Get some energy here.
So these are two baby red ruffed lemurs. They're about 6 months old. There's about 80 different species of lemurs. All can be only found in Madagascar and the surrounding islands. These are one of the larger species of lemurs. They can top out at 10 pounds. Generally they'll weigh between 6 and 9 pounds. These guys live in the rainforest of Madagascar, and fruit makes up about 80% of their diet, but they also like to drink the nectar out of flowers. The more flowers they stick their faces into, the more pollen they're getting in that fur around their faces, which makes them one of the world's largest pollinators.
They get groomed a little.
Yeah. They love grooming. They're still babies, so they also still explore most of their mouths. So these guys are critically endangered, and if they disappear, the rest of that rainforest could disappear, since they're helping originate the pollination. Guys have questions for lemurs?
How old do these guys get?
About 6 months.
Well, they live into their late teens. They're lucky. I know you can't go that far.
Are you folks going to join us for evening tours, crunch time, or bedtime? You two are, both of them? Okay, so you'll want to head down this path, and it'll lead you to a gate that will say meet here for evening tours. You'll want to be at that gate just before 4:30, where your tour guide will pick you up, and then you'll be done at 5 o'clock, 5:30 after bedtime ends.
So I asked about that animal over there, but can I pet these ones?
Sadly, no. Sadly, no. It's just a look and learn.
It takes a little more paperwork.
You can always do a VIP tour, and then it is an option.
Cool.
But only while they're behaving themselves. Loves the Frankensteiners.
In the morning, where do we go?
For the breakfast?
Yeah.
Well, just tell us.
Okay, in the morning at 9:30 we have an elephant encounter for you guys. So you'll head down this path. There's some stairs at the bottom, and there's a sign on the gate that says meet here for evening tours. So we'll pick you up there, and then we'll have the elephant interaction. It lasts about half an hour or so. And yeah.
Cool.
You guys have any other questions? Doing evening tours? They are. Okie dokie. Well, we're going to get them moving. We'll see you in a little bit.
Guys, thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Nadia is a Siberian lynx. She's the largest member of the lynx family. This cat weighs about 40, sorry, let me try this again. She weighs about 60 pounds. The bobcats, like little Felix we saw on the end, they are the closest and smallest of the bobcats living around here, and they only weigh about 40 pounds at most. Now, being from Siberia, northern Russia, she would be around a lot of snow. She's got some adaptations to help her deal with that. Just like dogs designed for a colder climate, she has a double coat. She's got a thick, dense undercoat that keeps her nice and warm and insulates to cool her down, and a secondary coat that's pretty much shedding year-round. You go to pet her and she comes off in fluffy chunks. Those giant feet, partially webbed, skin between the toes, works like an excellent snowshoe. She can sneak up on her food more quietly. And then those hairs on the tips of her ears. Your signature lynx hairs. Well, she's using those kind of like a satellite dish. Bit of sound vibration into one set of hairs, bit of sound vibration into the second set of hairs, and she can triangulate to pinpoint locate exactly where her food is under the snow. She can hear a mouse 3 feet underneath that snow using the hairs. Amazing. You can tell a lot about the way the cat hunts by the length of their tail. Cats with shorter tails will be aerial hunters, leaping up and pouncing down. Cats with longer tails using it like a rudder to keep their balance when they're running really fast. Nadia's got that short tail, she's kind of sitting on it. She is an aerial hunter. She's going to use those big ears to find her food, those big feet to sneak up on her food, hairs on the tips of her ears to figure out exactly where her food is. She's going to judge about 2 or 3 inches back, leap up 3 or 4 feet into the air, and power drive her head down into the snow to catch her food. She is a hardcore hunter. Now her food of choice would be the children that do not behave on our 1 o'clock tours. Everybody was pretty good today, sorry Nadia. The next option would be snowshoe hair, but we are fresh out of snowshoe hair. You got a third option. This stuff is called Nebraska. Comes in a frozen log form, used to be made out of horse meat. They have since converted most of it to beef. It not only has the protein you and I would eat, it also has the bones, tendons, and cartilage ground up in there, simulating more of their diet out in the wild. And then this stuff on top kind of looks like shredded or grated cheese. Yes, well, while our animals are spoiled, they are not that spoiled. That is actually vitamins and minerals. And then there is some fish oil for that luscious coat of hers. So what we're going to do this evening, guys.
She looks so pretty.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
Like she's smiling.
She has assumed the position. Everyone smiles before food. We're going to use this handy-dandy feed stick to shove on meatballs right underneath here. Whoever, as soon as you're done using the stick, go ahead and pass it on to the next person. We can do 2 meatballs per person. Luck of the Rod says, you are going first. Oh. I wasn't going to whack it with it. She's a little nervous there. Okay, my dear. Here you go. A little meow there. Good kid. There we go. Here's another one. She's a good girl. She says, I'm not done. I'm not done.
I'm not ready
Patience.
yet.
She's such a crack up. There we go. Good job.
Go next,
You're up. Now notice how gentle and whatever she is about it.
She is very gentle about it.
She is in no fear of losing her meal. These guys have a very high success rate out in the wild. If she were to fail at her first hunting attempt of the day, she'll try again in a couple of hours, and more than likely she will succeed. So Nadia does get fed 7 out of 7 days a week here at the Monterey Zoo. The bigger cats, they only get fed 6 out of 7 days a week. That one day being a fasting day, because they would not be successfully catching and eating every day out in the wild. Now that fasting day was originally done in zoos for financial purposes, but they did some veterinary research and it turns out it's actually better for them to have that single day where they wouldn't have food processed through them. It's actually better for us too, but
That's
we
true.
like to eat a little bit more than they do. Who's up next?
She is so gracious.
She's so dainty. Now notice her coloring. She's currently colored to blend in with her background. Got the brown hill behind her. That does not mean come spring when it starts to rain and the hill turns green that she will also be turning green. But if she lived in a snowier environment, her entire coat would shed out to be closer to the color of the chest and the belly hair. I had a little girl on my tour the other day. I said the chest and belly hair comment. She goes, what's that? I was like, well, it's the hair on their chest and their belly. Without skipping a beat, she goes, my dad has that. Kids say the darndest thing. Fortunately, Dad was not there, but Mom did turn kind of purple. It was pretty awesome. You're such a good girl. There we go, kid. Little dainty kid. Now, Nadia is very lucky to be alive in a day and age where it is no longer a sign of status to wear fur, nor is it a necessity. Back when they were making lynx fur coats, it took 40 of these cats for a single waist-length coat, only using the chest and the belly hair. The rest of the cat was discarded. So Nadia is very lucky to be alive now. Good kitten.
Is the fur texture that much different between
It
the
is.
front and back?
It is. It is exceedingly softer underneath. Yep. Sadly so, exceedingly softer. That's kind of fun to say. Now we call her Princess Nadia, because when she first came to us, she was so adorable and so lightweight. Her first trainers used to drive her around in a golf cart or carry her around in a bag. Exactly. She loves coming out. She loves playing ambassador to her species, but she's developed a diva personality. You get her 40 feet from her enclosure door, she sits on her butt demanding that you carry her. Yeah, well, at 60 pounds, that ain't gonna fly. But she does have a wagon that she can jump into and out of at her own leisure. And sometimes we will pull her fuzzy butt around the lower zoo grounds just for the fun of it. Hence the title, Princess Nadia. Such a princess. Whoop, there we go. She got it. She says, don't worry, I got this. Good kid. Here we go. Now, if she lived in a snowier environment and her coat shed out to be closer to the color of the chest and belly hair, whoop, right in the shot. Just a slow walk right on in there. That's okay. I got a little extra meatball here. We'll do a tiny one for you. You good? Okay. Excellent. You're up, my dear. That was so funny. So, if her coat were to shed to be the color of the chest and the belly hair, the tips on the ears, as well as the tip on the tail, would stay black. That is because those marks are called a follow me mark. They are something that stands out amongst the rest of the camouflaging so the babies can find mom in a quick hurry. Tricks of the trade. She didn't know if you were putting that one in or taking it out.
I thought you were taking it out.
It's possible. She's such a silly little girl. Moody little princess.
Most of them are.
Indeed. It's a cat thing. It's so funny. Sometimes on that 1 o'clock tour, we'll get up to her and she'll sometimes come out. But of course, as soon as you go to get the photo, she'll be right here and she'll be like, hopeless. But she sure is cute. She is. Little Miss Dainty Feet. Little Miss Dainty Feet. Yeah, the last time we tried to take her for a walk around the bed and breakfast, she just laid down in the shade and she would not get up. We ended up having to bring the van around to get her, so. Yeah, she doesn't do B&B walks anymore.
It worked. She pleased you guys.
She's so sad. Totally did. Okay, you guys, is anyone here celebrating a birthday?
That one.
Excellent. You, and you?
No,
Was it just those two? Okay, just those two. Fabulous. Somebody over here.
Her too.
No.
She's
Because I
lying.
remember you saying it was your birthday
Big
weekend.
Yes.
Yes.
We're doing
Yeah,
it
I
together.
pay attention to this stuff. I talked to you ladies earlier. I know what's going on. All right, we got one per person for this birthday trio.
Yay.
Here we go. You ready? Okay, here you go. No, I'm just kidding. She'd be really mad if I gave you her dinner. There we go. Her snorty little thing. Such a good
She does
kid.
other faces giving her food. She's
Yes.
having it. You guys are messing with her nightly ritual. It got stuck under anything.
She will figure it out. I have faith. I have faith. That long tongue of hers. I've also been told that she likes eating baby opossums, but in my 4 years here, I have yet to walk by and see a tail dangling out of her mouth. You gotta clean your palate a little before you have your last bite. I'm not surprised.
She's savoring the moment.
Not surprised.
Right? She's like, I know that's my last one. Hold on.
Dainty little
She's savoring the moment.
Exactly. She knows what's up. Cat cracks me up.
She's too cute.
Now, she's only 9 years old. Out in the wild, that would be it. But in captivity, with access to veterinary care and water and food, she can reach her mid to late teens. So she's got a few more years on her. Good. Do you guys have any other questions for Nadia? I am her agent. I can field them. Ladies, feel her.
She looks so content now.
Okay, you guys. Slide on down this way. Pretty incredible, isn't he? That's a big kitty kitty.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. He ain't gonna get water tonight.
Well, you know, if we get done soon enough, I can actually flush that out a little. Water. We have a small group tonight. It doesn't take too long to feed. Bigger cat, much more food. Same process. Oh yeah, okay. You're up first, my dear. Yep, rock and roll, here we go. Let's make sense of teasing the tiger and go. Oh, you're telling.
He sounds like my former husband.
Love it.
No shit.
Love it. That is so funny. Here we go, big boy. Now this is Hobbs. He is a full-size male Bengal tiger. This cat weighs approximately 500 pounds. There's that crunch for crunch time.
Yep.
A male Bengal tiger was once weighed in at 800 pounds. That is a big kitty kitty. Look at those canines. Now, if you were to shave this cat, he does have the same stripes on his skin underneath. It's pink and black instead of orange and black, but it is the same stripes. And no two tigers have the same stripes. Just like our fingerprints, they are all unique individuals. Gotta love that crunch for crunch time. Now, Bengal tigers are found in India as well as Indonesia, and they are very endangered. There's actually more tigers in captivity than there are out in the wild, you guys. Oh, watch out for your coat. These guys are estimated to be extinct out in the wild by the year 2022. Yeah, that's 4 years. Unfortunately, they are still being hunted for their coat, as well as for use in traditional Chinese medicine. And their homes are being deforested to create trees for palm oil. Now, I encourage you guys, when you are done with your adventure here at Monterey Zoo and you get home, take a look in your cabinets, your pantries, your cupboards, even your cosmetics. See if there is anything that you are using that contains palm oil that you might be able to trade out for something that does not, something a little more sustainable. It's a way that we can help slow the decline of the Bengal tiger. Now, tigers are solitary, preferring to live alone. They'll come together to mate, and then they will part. Oh, I love you, Rob. This cat is 16 years old. Out in the wild, he would have been gone a few years ago. But here in captivity, once again, he's got the access to the vets, fresh water and food. He can reach his late teens, even early 20s. That one's kind of hard to eat. Every once in a while, they give me big enough pieces where he's like, the chicken's trying to fly out of my mouth. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm trying. One day he picked up a wing like 8 or 9 times. It just kept falling out of his face. I was like, sorry, I did not do that intentionally. Such a good boy. Now, do any of you guys have cats at home? Have you ever been licked by a cat?
Yeah.
It's very rough. It's very sandpapery. Well, cats actually have barbs on their tongues. Those barbs are designed to help them groom themselves, as well as for scraping the last little bit of meat off of bones. You might be seeing that bone again. There we go. That was a big cat. Good hair bone. Well, their barbs are large enough to be seen by the naked eye. And if he were to lick your arm, like really lick your arm with intention, he can lick the skin layers clean off. Only takes about 4.5 licks to get to the center of your Tootsie Pop. How much? He weighs about 550 pounds. That is a big kitty. Okay, here we go, Albers. I do love him. Of all the kitties up here, he's actually my favorite. He's got stripes and spots. Oh yeah. Extra special. He's so funny. In the morning, sometimes he doesn't even want to come out. He'll be in his den box there, and he'll just like roll over and cover his eyes like 5 more minutes, Mom. He's got a pool out there. That pool is 4.5 feet deep. In his old enclosure, he had a 2-foot deep pool. When we first released him into here, he jumped in, had no idea how to keep his pool. You've never seen a big cat backpedal that fast. He's in tight. Now on hotter days like the 90s, hotter days like the 90s, with no wind, all you see is his head and the rest is underwater. You love your pool, don't you, big boy? Now, can anyone tell me what whiskers are used for?
Isn't it balanced?
Sensory. It's not balanced. That is a common misconception. It is sensory, specifically judging width. The length of his whiskers are equivalent to his own width. So if he shoves his nose in a dark hole and the whiskers don't touch, he knows his entire body can fit through. Now, someone asked me the other day, is that true of all cats? I make no guarantees on how overfed your house cats are. Sorry. Oh, there goes the lion.
Well,
Actually, it's fasting day, so they're over there going, excuse me, I think you forgot.
Feeding somebody. I know you are.
Yeah, exactly. They can hear it. Good boy, Hog. Such a good boy. There we go. Yummy, yummy. Now, can anyone tell me what his follow me marks are? What stands out amongst the rest of the camouflaging? I'll give you a hint. You can't see it right now because it's aimed forward. Tail. No. The white dots on the back of his ears. Oh. Those white dots kind of make it look like he's got eyes. So eyes in the above. So he'll be eating his food and it looks like he's still looking that way. That will help protect him. Also, if babies lose track of mom, they can jump above that tall grass, see the backs of the ears, and find her. All cats have some follow me mark. For the lions, it's darker hair on the back of their ears and a dark tip on their tail. Such a good kid. There you go.
Do the males, the Bengals help rear the cubs or no?
Do what?
Do these help rear their cubs or
No, no, they are completely solitary. So they'd be coming together to mate and then the boys would be kicked out. Yes, indeed. It's a tough world out there. For some. For some, indeed. Now, a lot of people will say, are we going to be hearing them roaring tonight? Tigers don't roar. Yeah. The only time the tigers will be making any noise is if they're fighting with each other. Otherwise, since they are a solitary animal, to give away their location is actually a bad thing.
So it's just kind of that chuffing.
The chuffing is what you would hear when you're walking
When
around.
he started like
Exactly. So
when he started rubbing along with them.
that's the big cat's version of the little cat's purr. It's a friendly hello. It's kind of like us offering a handshake. Now, if a tiger chuffs to another tiger and that chuff is not returned, that's like offering the handshake and being like, ha ha, just kidding. You don't want to be rude. Always chuff back. How are we doing on timing? I want to make sure I can clean out your water bowl. Ooh, we are 5 o'clock exactly. Okay, who else still needs a feed?
That's it.
I believe it was just you. Fantastic.
Cool.
Awesome sauce. Good kid. We'll just dump the rest in here and then I'll wash out his water bowl real quick. There we go. Now this is more of how we would be feeding ourselves. Dump it down, push it down with a bowl, and slide it on in. We still use the feed stick just because it's easier. Excellent. There we go. Let's see what I can do for your wife. Nope, can't have that. Somebody just step on that and very much hurt themselves. Safety first. I have also been recently appointed our safety manager, so I have to be above and beyond careful with stuff. Alright, kiddo. Let's see what I can do with it. All the way on. Watch out, big boy. Watch out. Let's at least make it so this stuff doesn't fall back in all the way. There we go. Can I help you, dude? You want to dig in your water? No, of course not. A vet where I went to school had a fabulous quote. Dilution is the solution to pollution. So, at least we are diluting it. So if you really wanted it, you could have a drink of water tonight. If you really, really want it. I wouldn't recommend it, dude. Not for you. I'm sorry, dude. You want to dig in there, you can help me. I'm okay with that. Okay, big kid. Unfortunately, that is really all we have time for. In the morning when he goes out into his daytime enclosure, he will be able to clean the rest of this out, so tomorrow he will have fantastic water. Meanwhile, big boy, that's about all I got for you. Now, if you would learn not to poop in the actual water. Yeah, exactly. Amazing. Yeah, right. I love you. All right. Here you go. If you're really, really thirsty, you can lick that for now. Gotta do what you gotta do.
He's all rubbing on the fence like right.
That's a good boy. He says, come hug me. Come hug me. Right. Pretty nifty. You guys have dogs at home that are that well behaved? Yeah, exactly. Well, you got some really amazing elephants. Let's introduce them, shall we? On the left-hand side, standing approximately 11 and a half feet tall, weighing in over 11,500 pounds, we have our male elephant, Butch. In the middle, we have Christy, and on the right, we have Paula. Now, Paula and Christy have been best friends for pretty much all of Christy's life. She is the younger of the two. Wherever one elephant goes, the other is sure to follow. Which is why we have them both here in the big barn together. We did not have the heart to separate them. Butch is here in the big barn simply because he didn't fit through the doors of either of the smaller barns. It was a process of elimination. Looking out into the yard today, you probably noticed we have 4 elephants. This barn only has 3 stalls. So Buffy gets her very own luxury suite in the barn just behind you guys. People will often ask me, is she lonely over there all by her lonesome? Well, let me tell you. These guys have the intelligence of a 7 or 8-year-old human. So, as soon as Christy's not paying attention, Butch is going to come in and steal some of her hay. Of course, as soon as Butch isn't paying attention, Christy's going to come steal some of it back. Same thing with Paula and Christy. Buffy doesn't have to deal with any of those shenanigans. Now we have African elephants. There are African and there are Asian, also known as Indian elephants. Easiest way to tell the difference between the two, aside from the accent, size and shape of those ears. African elephants' ears are very large and generally in the shape of the continent of Africa. Your Asian or Indian elephant's ears are a lot smaller and kind of shaped like India. There's a cheat sheet tacked right onto the animal to let you know where they're from. That is extremely handy. Speaking of hands, that trunk serves as such. The trunk has an estimated 150,000 muscles and tendons in it. They've got more muscles in their nose than we have in our entire body. And the elephant's extreme ability to expand and contract that trunk is why it is actually being used as a template for robotic arms. Pretty cool. Now, while that trunk does have extreme strength, it also has extreme dexterity. The tip of that trunk has 2 little finger-like structures on the tip. I like to call those nose fingers. And those nose fingers, if you will, are super dexterous, so much so they can actually pick a Skittles up off the ground without any trouble at all. Big guy Butch, he likes the red ones. Now, they use that trunk to drink. To drink, they suck the water up into the trunk, but then they must blow that water into their mouth to actually swallow. On average, they can hold 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of water in there. Big guy Butch, closer to 4. But if they keep inhaling, they will drown because it is their nose. Pretty nifty nose though, huh? Let's take a dive into that food bowl, shall we? They already have. There's a couple different things going on in there. The condensed grass hay pellet is that green pellet you see. There's also some corn, oats, and barley. When you've got an itch, it makes a lot of noise. Now, this is their weekend diet. So there's also a little bit of bran added. That sort of helps reset their digestive system, sort of like the fasting day with those bigger cats. Now, this bowl weighs maybe 15 to 20 pounds. It's not going to be enough to fill up these hungry animals. So they are also eating about 130 pounds of hay between in here and out in the yard, for a total of sometimes 150 pounds of produce per elephant per day. But that is only here in captivity. Out in the wild, they're constantly on the move. So they need more food in order to maintain that energy. So they're going to be eating closer to 300, even 400 pounds of vegetation per elephant per day. But their digestive system is not very efficient. Only about 40% of what they are eating is actually being processed and digested. The rest of it comes out the other end, partially digested, with the seeds in their own fertilizer, which will help grow the vegetation. So the following year, when they find themselves in the same place on their annual trek, there is food to eat. Extremely handy. Goes in tight. I was going to say, that sounded like a sneeze from the butt. I was going to say, I was kind of wondering, but okay. Thank you for clarifying that one. She's very relaxed. That's a no smoking zone. You just stay away from back there. A butt sneeze. I love it. Did you have a question? No. Oh, you're admiring the figure painting with the only medium they have access to. Isn't that lovely? Their work of art. Fart art. Sorry, now I'm just on one. I'm being silly. Do you guys have any pressing elephant questions?
How do they keep their noses clean? Do they clean it themselves?
How do they keep their noses clean? Well, they have the ability to hold it way up here. Just sneezing, clearing it out, kind of like what Butch did when we first got in here. They just a big exhale of air, and that flushes it out of it. There's also a little bit of snot. That definitely helps. He doesn't have tusks. He does not have tusks because those tusks are a modified incisor. They are a tooth. They have a root. And when he was younger, he cracked one of them all the way up to that root. So the tusk itself had to be removed. And since they removed the tusk and it weighs so much, they removed the second one so that he wasn't lopsided. You guys are witnessing the next phase of elephant manners. Much like how you guys would bring your dirty dishes up to the sink, we ask our elephants to do the same. And then they get a reward, so they're more likely to do it again. Oh yeah.
The tusks on the two are different.
Yes.
So what happens?
So the length of the tusk and the strength is determined by the size at the base. Paula here, her tusks are very thin. Sorry, let me try that again. Her tusks are very thick at the base, so they do have the ability to extend and stay thicker all the way down. Christie's, they actually come out and sort of form a point. And if they get too long and too pointy, she might actually break one, and it could possibly result in what happened to him, where she breaks it too far and it damages the root. Now those tusks grow 4 to 6 inches a year. Butch's will not be growing back because he actually had the root removed, but for these two, the tusks do still grow. You can file them back like we did with Christy, but again, you just have to be extremely careful not to damage that nerve or root. Honestly, all I've ever seen Paula use her tusks for is to rest her big heavy trunk upon. But out in the wild, the tusks would be used for playing, fighting, foraging. Here in captivity, Butch is not lacking by not having them. Out in the wild, it would be a bit harder because he wouldn't be able to dig for food and find water and such. But here, he's just a big baby.
Do they fall off when you put them in the hand?
They do not. They are part of their body and stay on forever. Now, inside of their mouth, there are grinding molars. But they also don't lose the molars. Now, those molars are each about the size of a small brick, and they go through 6 sets of them. But instead of losing them, the tooth gets worn down and gets thinner as they're chewing on the food. And then as the tooth thins down, it starts to absorb back into the jaw. As the old tooth shrinks away and disappears, the new tooth comes in and takes the old one's place. It's kind of like a conveyor belt of teeth. There's always a grinding surface. Hi, kiddo. Correct. I know, we're trying extremely hard. Something that I have seen recently, people have been putting dye packets, like the exploding dye packets that they use in bank robberies, all over the trees and areas where the elephants like to rub their tusks. And that is dyeing the outside area of that tusk, which will hopefully make that section useless to the poachers. Fingers crossed. Yep, exactly. Whatever we can do to make them less appealing. It's so sad.
There you go.
Yummy. Yummy. She's a good kid. Now, a question I often get about Paula is what's going on with her skin? She looks very strange. Well, if you look at the head and the back of both Christy and Butch, you will see a little bit of that bumpiness. That is a natural layer of skin, maybe up to 1/4 of an inch thick. It's extra to help protect them from the sun. Now Paula, she's got a condition where she just doesn't exfoliate very well. The new skin builds up under the old skin and the old skin doesn't come off. Sometimes it will come off when we're scrubbing her in the morning for her initial bath, but you can't scrape at it or else it'll bleed. And it really doesn't bother her. She uses the little nooks and crannies to store things like rocks and sticks and stuff. So when you're hosing her off in the morning, you never know what's coming down on the other side. I was actually hosting bedtime a couple months ago, and a rock about that big fell off the other side of her halfway through the tour. We didn't even realize it was there, but all of a sudden, bam, you hear it hit the ground. It was really silly. Okay, you guys, they have had their dinner. Now it's your turn to help feed some dessert. Hang out right where you are. I'm going to bring the food to you. You are welcome to feed any of the three. They will take their goodies very differently. You're going to do it, okay. Paula on the end, she is super polite. Since you only have 3 there you go. 3 or 4 feet from the green bars. Absolutely. You're welcome to take photographs. Maybe the laser for your back up so you reach a little more easily. He'll shake and play for about 3 to 5 minutes. You gotta make it work. Kind of storage for things. Yummy, yummy. It's taking a little while.
One more. Yeah, I want for that one.
That's it for now. I'll come back.
There you go. So funny. Slowly but surely with a giant bale of hay. Careful. You may want to escape. Yeah, I don't know if you can carry that giant bale. Yes. Yes, please. He's got to switch it up. This is so funny. We are, as I like to say around here, on Bush. Okay. Oh, all right, all right. He's like, I know he can count practically. He can. He just got higher than my head. That's such a riot. And then here's her pile to you. You're welcome.
Whoops.
This is not for what comes out of your nose. For what comes out of your nose on their hands. Slobber towel? Okay, cool. It's good moisturizer. How often do you say you get slobbered on by an elephant? Oh no. She's like, you can pay me a carrot toll. You can pay me a single carrot toll and then I can pass by. That's it. You get extra flying. I'll be back, don't worry. Oh, no.
Christina.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Back up. Pull it back. Christy, back.
Here you go, guys.
Back up.
She's trying to eat it from the bucket.
Back.
Oh, make sure you stay back. This is there. Come close. You're good. Okay. You're welcome. Yes, I do have something over there. Yes.
Alright.